in this Atlanta DJ Zone Tech Tuesday Live. For those of you, if this is your first time watching this podcast, this is a show that I do every Tuesday, or at least I try to do every Tuesday with a topic. Usually the topics are last minute, but this is a show that I do every Tuesday. I used to post it from a specific group, which is the Atlanta DJ Zone group, but now I'm broadcasting it out a little bit further. I should be hitting maybe 10 or more DJ groups from Facebook now by doing it to YouTube as well as my personal line. So my personal Facebook page. So what we do or what I do is, of course, a lot of you guys know that I answer a lot of the tech questions that you may see in the groups. So what I decided to do is just open it up and we just do it live. That way we can get a one-on-one, or you can get to know a lot of the people that have questions and that comment in most of the groups by hearing their voice and seeing them live. So usually most of the time I have a topic, but lately I haven't came up with a nice steady topic. So that's where I need you guys to come in whenever you think of a something that we can talk about as a topic. Bring it up so I can do some research on it, do some background check into it. If it's something that I'm not related to or that I haven't done a lot, so when I start the show, I will be able to get into it. But also, I want a lot of you guys to come in and join me live. If you look in the YouTube link at the bottom, there's a link that I posted to where you can join live. Now, you can only join live if you're on a computer. So you have to be on a computer. It doesn't have to have a webcam. We can, as long as we can hear you verbally, we don't have to see you. You can have your cam turned off, or you can have your cam turned on and join me on screen. So that's what we're gonna do. And I already got one of my first guests tonight because I asked him what and let me see if I can make sure I got him here. I see you, Tracy. Okay, good. I see you. Now, what I usually do, and hold on a second. Me, what I usually do is open topic. Like I said, unless I have a topic, and what I do, I have it I have it to where we discuss whatever topic. So tonight, somebody came up with an idea that was a last minute thing to throw in as a topic. We can still do open discussion. There's a lot of you guys that I commented on some of the issues that you was having, and I was saying, hey, well, join me live and we can see if we can get that resolved. But we can do that later. So make sure that you catch up with this later, and you can join me live and we can get whatever issues that you have, whether it's something technical with your gear, or if it's software related, if it's Mac or whatever. You know, as long as it's DJ or pro audio, we can get it on. But somebody came up with the idea that last minute came up as a good topic, and I'm just going to start adding this on now. And that is to have a lot of you guys that are out there doing the gig. I'm not active doing the gigs and the events anymore, but a lot of you guys are, and a lot of you guys have done events as of maybe yesterday, Sunday, Saturday, Friday, or whatever. So this is your opportunity to share whatever you want to share from those events and gigs. If you have pictures or videos that you want to post, let's put them up. This is not about me. I'm the person that share. I'm the messenger. I'm just sharing the information that I may have learned from you or from somebody else. So all I'm just doing is just open it up so everybody can be on the same page. So right now the topic is basically, what did you do? What was your event? How was your event? What are some of the good, the bad, pros or cons, or whatever? Share with the information, because this can help somebody out that may not be related into that type of specific event. whether it's something with the venue, whether it's something with the staff, whether it's something with the client, like if you're dealing with bridezillas, if they make certain requests that are abnormal that you're not used to. Let's get it out there and share that information, because you're not going to learn anything if you don't speak up and share. So right now we're going to get into the first one. This is a team that two guys that work together this past weekend for a big outdoor event, and I helped in on it too. I did a little consultation as for how to set up the gear, or what ideas as for what to go by. But these are the two guys that were actually here, and I got one of them now, and I hope the other one will be joining me soon. So if y'all would welcome Tracy Gardner. Yo, what's up? What's up?
Greetings. How's it going? Can you hear me okay?
Thank you for joining me. Now, you helped out Mac Taylor this week on an event that he's been doing. This is his second year doing it. It was an outdoor. Was it a blues event? It was a blues event, right?
Yeah, Southern Soul Blues down in Alabama. Outdoor event. I think it was very well attended. Out in the sun during the day. The event went on all day from doors open around 3 o'clock, and it was over around 10 p.m. And turned out I was just really looking for something to do over the weekend. Just happened to be in conversation with Mac of One Time Entertainment, and he invited me to come down and join him for for the event. And turned out to be a really top-notch performance by all the artists, and it was just a good time for fellowship, learning opportunity, and just a lot of fun. Generally like to do day events. I'm past the point of doing a lot of like nighttime club work. So this Sunday afternoon event was all ages, and it was just pretty much right up my alley. So I decided to go down and join him.
Did you get any video or photos to see? I know Mac got some that he took, and I wanted to bring some of them up, but it's going to take me a while to get them up. I'll probably pull them up, and he's supposed to be joining a little bit. Now, from your experiences, what are some good, bad? I mean, I've seen some of the posts. I've seen some of the stuff that was shared, but what I'm doing right now, and he when me and him was talking earlier, he gave me the idea like, that could be something that I could do, whether I have a topic or not, and it could be a place filler, because everybody likes to talk about the event that they just did. They like to share their information. So I'm making it open so people can talk about whatever events that they share, and also share whatever they can that somebody else can learn off of it, and be able to either something that they need to pick up and learn how to do, or something they need to avoid on how to do. So when I bring this discussion up, or when it comes up to this point, what I want to know is what is it that and I guess Mac probably need to come on first, but I'm gonna see exactly what you can share as for the event. Even if you had, did you have any other events this week?
No, that was the one that I did. Totally wasn't something that we had planned weeks ahead. I just happened to be in conversation with Mac. He said, "Come on down and share in the event with me." And I just went on down. It's about a 4-hour drive for me, so it was just something to do for the weekend. It was I was out of the house roughly 24 hours. I left 4 in the morning and got home 4 in the morning. So that's a lot of it. For me, it's just it was more fun than business. Certainly, it was business, but it was more fun. I do have some initial observations, and I don't want to overstep anything that Mac might come in and say. But one thing I can say is that when you do an event like that, it's a yearly event. I think the promoters, they had done a lot of pre-work to make sure that the venue had everything that it needed. They had taken into account all of the bathrooms, the power. They had their VIP section was set up. They had vendors there. They had everything that was, everybody was there, and they were in place to make sure that event could be successful. And so when we came in, we showed up around 10 in the morning, and the doors weren't going to open until 3. So even that, I think we had left Mac's place, early enough that we didn't have to rush. The truck was packed. He had a good handle on the inventory. He prompted me up front to let us know what equipment that we were going to be working with. So when we got there weren't really a whole lot of surprises. So it was, good for the time that but from the time that we got there to the time that we were up and playing the first song, it was pretty well orchestrated in terms of just being organized. And I had to, my hats off to One Time Entertainment, because while he worked with the promoters to make sure that the venue was straight, then we all worked together to make sure the stage was straight. So everybody had a role to play, and I think it was important that everybody knew what their role was. Everybody knew what the objective was, and it just made for a real smooth day, really low pressure, not no panic. It just happened the way it was supposed to.
So everything started. So y'all had everything set up kind of early, because I know it wasn't just you, him, and his wife. It was a couple other people that helped out as well.
Right. Correct? Yeah, a person we just met. Mac had been working with this guy. His name is DJ Tez. I think he's in the Bessemer or Birmingham area. They partner on a lot of things, so they were already familiar with one another. So they knew each other's work style. They knew the equipment that was going to be used and that type of thing. So I just made the comment. I think the first song went off. When the first song came on, I asked, "Hey, what time is it?" Somebody says 2:07, and the doors didn't open until 3. And I just made the comment, hey, it's better to be an hour early than 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
And so, the pressure was off. We didn't have to worry about, are we going to make it? Do we have power? Is everything going to work? We had an hour to kill before the doors were even open. So again, there was just no pressure there.
Now, I know that Mac dealt with and I meant to ask you this too, because he had a new piece of equipment, the Personas board. Did y'all get the Personas board that you went through with him and showed him how to set that up? Because it was a learning experience for me, because the one that we use at my church is a 32 channel.
Okay.
And even with the 16 channel, it can be overwhelming if you're not familiar with it. Right. So I had experience with our DJ Genius using that board, and I was familiar with doing hands-on. But what they did for that event, they used the iPad. Okay. And I was telling Mac, once I start figuring out, because now at church I take my iPad and I walk around the whole church whenever they start to do music, and I do everything directly from my iPad. And I was telling Mac, I like, if you got the time, and we were up late and we both went to bed probably about around the same time. If you got the time, see if you can try to get that, because it'll help you out a whole lot better, where you could be walking around, you could be somewhere in the back, and if something don't sound right, you could just tune it right there. But if you're in the back, if you don't have the iPad, then you got to walk all the way back up to your mixing board and make the corrections, because that's what I had to do at that event. I wasn't familiar with the iPad, using the iPad, and I didn't want to mess it up. I was able to do some stuff, but some stuff I wasn't familiar with. So I did a lot of running backwards and forwards. But I was just telling him, overall, get the use of that mixer, because that mixer is something different than the mixers that I've seen him use before. And right. The fact that he just got it too was a lot like, woo, you just got a piece of equipment that could be overwhelming and difficult to learn at the last minute. So when he said that you was gonna be that help, I'm like, okay, I think he got this covered. I'm sure Tracy is familiar with the board, and he could probably walk him through to do a lot of, at least anything to do the stuff that he needs to do, like maybe set up compressions with the artists, with the mics and stuff like that, and make sure that everything's set up so the sound is good. Basically set up the aux and have your monitors and your house on two different setups to where that you won't be getting any feedback no matter where the artist stands. So
Right.
what's your take on that?
Well, I'm familiar with most of the digital consoles, but PreSonus isn't one that I'd ever used before. One of my good friends, a producer, he has a 32 channel, the AI series, which is newer. The workflow is a little different, has some different features. I was at his house about a month ago, and saw it, played with the fat channel a little bit, but that was as much as I had ever seen that console. So I just kind of had to apply what I knew from other consoles. Just had to apply it. Thankfully, it was all track acts, so I really didn't have to worry about trying to set up a bunch of keyboards, guitars, bass, drums, and that type of thing. So it was just program music coming from Max Mixer, and then we had 6 mics available, and we had the house sound, and also a mix for Mac, because he DJ'd all day, and then a mix for the artist. So it all worked out. It was a feedback-free day. There were no dropouts. We had the constant was we had 2 MCs from the local radio station. So their mics, they stayed on pretty much all day. And then it was just a changeover, just going from artist to artist. I think when Mac joins, I think you'll have a lot more to talk about when we were going from artist to artist, kind of how we worked together to make sure, like, because there were no sound checks except for what we did. We did the line checks in the beginning, but each artist just came on cold. So that first 30 seconds when they would be on stage, that was their sound check. And that was probably the most tension of the day, was that first 30 seconds that every artist came on. I'll let Max speak to that a little bit more. But overall, that PreSonus board, it's a pretty powerful tool. If you come from the old school where you had the analog console, where you had to have your dedicated equalizer, you had to have your a rack full of gear with compressors and reverb units and crossovers and whatever other money channel, whatever other equipment that you wanted to use, you had to have a rack full of stuff to just equal the amount of processing power that's in these new digital consoles. And it just makes life a whole lot easier, especially if you're doing a lot of different artists that in one concert. But it's a lot more portable, and in many ways it sounds better than I'm an old analog guy, and I say you can't beat the old analog sound. But in terms of just getting something up and running in a matter of minutes, and to be able to program it to do an event in just a matter of minutes, it's hard to beat the digital content.
Go ahead, I hear you. Now, first off, let me let you introduce yourself, because we jumped into the discussion without letting everybody know who you are. Let everybody know who you are, who you represent, and what's your background as for what you know about DJing and pro audio.
Well, thanks. And my name is Tracy Garner. I'm originally from the Baltimore, Washington area. I came to the Atlanta area about 8 years ago, and I've been a musician. Probably my first paid gig was really in the 5th grade. I played the snare drum, accompanying my elementary school teacher in a Christmas concert. So I went from there to studying classical and jazz up through high school, and at the same time, I grew up in an area where there were a lot of Caribbean people that came around as migrant workers, and they always had this love of reggae music and sound systems. And there was one individual that didn't really know how to set up his equipment, but he had a bunch of it, and he befriended me. And I always had boom boxes and house stereos and stuff like that, and he recognized that. And so we kind of partnered up together, and I started to learn the sound system business from him and some other guys, these Jamaican sound systems that would be in the area. And so kind of had this parallel life between musician, playing jazz and classical music, and also playing DJ music from the early 80s. The DC area had the go-go music, so it was always live bands and DJs. And again, I had this parallel, life where I was playing jazz and as well as classical music, and it just kind of grew from there. And so I've had periods in my life where I played music professionally as a drummer, percussionist, and then periods in my life where I also DJed full time. And probably the last 20 years, in parallel with all that, I've always been in the tech industry, PCs and the payments industry and that type of thing. So there's always been this parallel between just being a musician and also being a tech somewhat. And I have to say that there's really two schools of thought. From you have people who are in the sound business that really look down on DJs. A lot of times thinking that we're more, our style is more elementary, that we don't really know a lot about running sound equipment and that type of thing. There's a lot of times there's a huge disconnect between what the sound guy would do and the DJ would do. And I'd like to think that in many ways I bridge that gap because I've been a DJ all my life and also a sound guy. So there are some different schools of thought that I like to try to close those gaps and try to draw those parallels between, okay, I'm a DJ and I know sound and I know, the way music is mastered and that type of thing. And there's also a school where there's a reproduction of sound where, the sound guy would say, don't add anything to the music, it needs to be flat. And the DJ would say, oh, I need that bass, or I need that highs, I need those treble. So there's kind of there's two ways of looking at it and two different ways to accomplish it. And they're both of us are right, I think. And I'm thankful to have been a part of, musician, DJ, and sound guy.
Yeah, that's a good thing because a lot of guys right now, when they start out as DJs, and when you start out as DJ, pro audio is the basics. You learn just the basics because you got so much of this other stuff that you got to learn. You got to learn about turntables and mixers and whatever gear that you use. And now these days, instead of being able to have records and CDs, you got everything on digital format. So you got MP3s and you got the DVS system, Serato, Tractor, whatever it is out there that you're using, and you add a computer into it. That makes it a whole different difficult thing that you need to learn. And a lot of them don't focus on the pro audio stuff. As for cable hookups, the difference between XLR and DMX cable, they look the same, but they work completely different. How to hook up, what's the difference? What difference in a passive system and an active system? What do you need for each? It's just so much in pro audio that a lot of DJs don't grasp or understand. So like you said, you bridge the gap. I do the same thing. I learned pro audio at the same time that I learned DJing. Actually, I think I probably knew pro audio more because I worked for a music company. I worked for a company called Muzak at that time. So I worked for them at the time. We did. I mean, it was more commercial stuff, but I did know how to do 70-volt systems and low voltage wiring and stuff like that. And also I did a lot of other stuff on the side even before I started DJing, because I didn't start DJing, I think probably either at that time or either after that time. So it was a little bit reversed for me, where I didn't start DJing first and then I had to pick up the other stuff. I started pro audio first, and then DJ was something that I included, but it made it a lot more easier because I understood a lot of the stuff that a pro audio person needs the DJ to know. And that's when somebody is dealing with an event that you have somebody that's already handling the sound. Like he said, you may have a pro audio engineer that's handling the sound, and the only thing that you're coming in to provide music. You providing a source, or you provide a service that incorporates with his work. So I mean, you have to kind of work with him. And like you said, when the DJ wants more bass, you need to comply with what the engineer said, because he can make your event a lot tedious and worse by not complying with what you do. So that's just a point I just want to share, that you said that I want to share with those that don't know about what the pro audio engineer. When you have somebody that's handling the sound that you have to pass through, you need to find a way to work with him, because he can make your event and make you look bad real quick. And it was also I think it was something that you said. I don't know whether you said it now or you may have said it, and Mac had mentioned to me about, oh, it was Mac had said it was about the mics, about how the artist wanted you to turn it up, and you wouldn't turn it up. And if I'm thinking right, if I'm thinking you do the same thing that I do at church, you had somebody. Let me grab a mic. I got one right here. Were they singing like this?
No, absolutely not. They had the mic.
Down at the belly button. They were holding the mic like right here, how you supposed to.
Right.
All right, go ahead. Tell me what's up with that.
I mean, a lot of times, the artists, again, they didn't get a chance to sound check. So especially the guys that, some of the opening artists, it might have been they haven't been doing it for a long time. You can tell by their stage presence. For one, like you said, they didn't have, just the technicality of being able to hold the mic properly and that type of thing. So you could tell really from the beginning. But then they will walk up on stage, and the first thing they would say, before they even heard themselves, they would say, "Turn me up in the monitors," or "Turn up my mic." They would say something like that. Mm-hmm. And people would panic. The manager would come around and say, "Oh, turn the mic up, turn the mic up, turn the mic up." And they would come on the stage, really singing at half voice. They weren't warmed up. They didn't know what the sound system was going to sound like. So sometimes I would just fake them out. If it was I would just fake them out. I would just put my hand up there to the gain. And I would look at them, look back at this console, look back up there. They would go, "Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up." Then I would look at them again. They say, "Turn it down, turn it down, turn it down." I didn't make any adjustment at all, because I knew the gain was set where it was, supposed to be. And after that first 25, 30 seconds, then they're okay. So that's kind of and I told Mac's wife, I said, "Watch when this person goes up on stage, watch what they do. They're going to say this." I said, "But don't say anything. Just give me 25 seconds. She was like, "Okay." And 25 seconds later, the guy's like, "Yeah, okay." I hadn't changed anything. It wasn't me. It was just his perception, and that artist's level of comfort had changed. The sound system didn't change at all. So you have to know really when it's one thing you want to do what you need to do to make the artist comfortable, but you have to balance that with the product that the audience actually hears and sees. Yep.
Yeah, because I know and I was thinking that it was the same thing that we do, because on Sunday, it hadn't been a Sunday yet that somebody is handing somebody a mic, and the people that usually brings the mic know that they need to bring the mic up. So you have people that's talking into the mic like this, and it's not picking up, because these mics you have to have directly like this. People are talking like this. Some people are having it down even further. If they don't have it like this, I mean, MCs, you don't have any problem with MCs. I used to be an MC, and MC is going to have it like this. We're going to have it like this all the way. But when you when you have like a vocal artist, somebody that sings, they're not used to having it as close.
Right. It was
They
more
like
like the,
think
what,
that
what we faced was more like the rapper position, I call it. Like if this is the mic, they got the mic like this.
well, yeah, the cupping thing
Yeah.
is now. I tell them not to cup if they do. You could turn. It's it's easier to turn a person down than to turn them up because depending on where they standing, if they standing like too close to a monitor and you turn them up, that's feedback you get. But if they got it cupped up real good and they sounding real loud, real hot, you could turn them down, which it'll prevent a little bit more too. But then when they start to bring it back, you may have to adjust a little bit up. Hold on a second. I got Mac here now. Oh, he just dropped off. There he is.
Oh, there he is. There you go.
And he come on laughing. What's up, man? What's funny?
I don't know. Nothing. Just got the shower. About to get ready for work. I got to be working 45 minutes.
Okay. All right. Real quick, because I had Tracy to hold back on some of. Let me quit talking. I had Tracy to hold back on some of the stuff about the event. Share some good, bad, whatever you can about the event that y'all did this weekend.
I mean, let me start off by saying, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate Tracy Garner coming from Atlanta, my man DJ Tez coming from Birmingham, and his wife. Last year, my wife and I, we did the whole thing by ourselves. We set it all up by ourselves last year, and that was two passive. So 12 passive, 12 powered speakers last year, and 2 passive. We did it all ourselves, set up and breakdown. So I cannot tell you how much these guys, those extra set of 3 hands, helped. It's in the breakdown. I think we were set up really in like 90 minutes, and we were able to do the sound check and all, whatever, We were ready to go 2 hours before the show, or hour. It was about 90 minutes before the show. Is that right, Tracy?
Yeah, I think the first song, and someone said it was 2:07.
Okay, so man, those guys, man, that was a big help. Other than that, man, I mean, artists. One thing I've learned with working with artists, this is my first rodeo. To them, you never give them enough mic. But Calvin Richardson was the only one who really complained about the mic. Him and Mose Stovall too. Mose, he wanted some more mic as well. But other than that, man, Tracy came through. I was so glad and I was so grateful that he had brought his amps, even though I didn't ask him to. I just asked him to bring himself and give me, help with the setup and show me some knowledge about, setting up the passive speakers and the passive system. But suppose my 3 amps that I had weren't working right, even though I checked them last week, and he had his. He was like, you know what? Forget this. I brought mine, and he hooked them up, and we were good to go. So, other than that, man, I mean, there were no hiccups. I mean, everything flowed smoothly. My only issue, I think I expressed it earlier before about the artist not providing me that music ahead of time. But I only had one artist that really did what I asked them to do. Everybody else was like, they had thumb drives, which I didn't have a problem with. But even on the thumb drive, it wasn't in order. So they had to have someone up there with me and tell me what to play next. And that, to me, that looks kind of unprofessional. Then you had artists that brought up laptops to connect the chorus.
Laptop?
Yeah, that sucked. And it's just, you had artists walking up on the stage while another artist was performing. That was just totally unprofessional and disrespectful. Yeah.
Walking up while you start
our very first act, Stacey Adams, he came up on stage and he had started pumping the crowd up and talking to him and whatnot. And then another artist came up with his laptop because he thought he was next, but he wasn't next. I don't think he was next. He came up with his laptop, and when he walked up on stage, somebody in the crowd yelled his name, and it just kind of took all the thunder away from the current artist that was supposed to be on stage. You know what I mean?
So there wasn't
no stage manager.
Wow. So what about the promoter?
The promoter, I don't know where he was most of the time. I don't know. As long as they pay me my money so I can pay my guys, you know, I don't know where he was.
Wow. So
but, you know, everything was successful, but it was not as good as it was last year as far as the performances were. As far as the performances or the crowd. And I think it had a lot to do with the lineup. I think I told Tracy it had a lot to do with the lineup. You know, last year we had Tucker, we had Ronnie Bell, we had Sir Charles Jones, we had Urban Mystic. Those are huge draws. But this year, your only major draw was Calvin Richardson, Urban Mystic, and maybe Big Rob. Everybody else, you know, nobody knows who Lou Battle is. Nobody knows who Miss Portia is, really. Nobody knows. Definitely nobody knew this Tonio guy. You know, so I think that hurt there. I think.
So the lineup that they had this year kind of hurt it a lot, where there were a lot of unknown artists out there.
Absolutely. Like I told Tracy, man, last year the crowd was way back to the gate. I mean, it was like last year. It was like you saw the crowd. I think you saw the video. Last year it was all the way back to the gate.
So how far was it this time? Was it back to the building?
I would say 1/3.
Wow.
1/3 of what it was last year. And so I knew. Let me tell you when I knew it was a problem. Last year when I got there, they paid me as soon as I got there. He pulled up in the truck, counted out the money, and gave it to me. And my wife and I said, as soon as we realized that they didn't pay us in the first 30 minutes we were there, we knew there was a problem. Yeah.
So there was problems getting your money? I mean, you got your money before the end of the night, right?
No, they gave us the money way before the end of the night. They got it to us. They tried to chip us down a little bit, but I told them I got people I need to pay in. We had an agreement. I have nothing to do with your attendance. You know, it's just business.
But this was the same promoter you kept last year, right?
Yeah.
And he tried to change. He tried to flip it up on you.
Well, he just asked me out of respect. He just asked me as being a businessman. But he did tell me. He told me. He said, if you say no, I can only respect that as a businessman. He said, but I got to ask you if you can cut me a break. And I told him I couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's
because it wasn't just
a promoter.
Right. It wasn't. Well, they had just had a show the night before in Dothan.
With the
I know
same
acts? No, a few of the same acts. You know how they do city to city, man. Mm-hmm. Some artists may be available on Saturday, but they're not available on Sunday, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So the lineup may change a little bit. But yeah, they had a show Saturday night in Dothan.
So this is not a promoter that works the Birmingham area. He works all around. He works forever.
Yeah, he's got a good reputation now. He's gonna pay your money. But I'm not saying he's not gonna try to save a little bit either. You just got 50 guns and be like, no, I can't do that. You know, we got. He'll be like, okay. So he brought me my money. That wasn't a problem. And like I told him, I said, you know, it's not just me and my wife this year. I got people I got to pay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Now, but besides the issue that you had with the laptop, the thumb drive, it was better this year than it was last year, where you did live instruments. You did live instruments last year.
You're breaking up just a little bit, but part of the issue I had as the DJ at the beginning was the sun shining directly on my MacBook. It was shining directly on the left side of the MacBook. And it was that afternoon sun, like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we ended up having to put a tarp up, which seemed to solve the problem. We didn't have any more issues after that.
So I thought the stage had like covering over it.
Yes, but not on the side. And the side was facing the west where the sun goes down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was open on the west. And so I noticed that my CPU meter it didn't hit the red, but it was I would say 7/10 cover in green. After we put the tarp up, it went down to about maybe went down to maybe about 1/3, maybe less than 1/3.
All right, so that's a note. That's a note that you need to know that turn your volume down a little bit to feedback into the.
All right, test 1, 2, 2, 3.
Yeah, just mute when you're not talking. That's all.
Because I'll just bring this up a little bit later. I was just gonna say real quick that a lot of DJs, if you do events outside, make sure you keep your laptops covered because the heat will cause issues. And he's not the first one. I mean, I've seen a lot of people that did an event where they didn't have a tent or they were left out in the sun, and they either had glitches or stuff started to happen during their performance, and it's the heat. Just like with anything else, if you leave your MacBook on or your laptop, whatever you're using, if it get hot, it's going to start to affect your performance. So you need to make sure that you keep it cool, whether you have, like right here, I got a fan on me right now. I have a fan on it, or buy you one of those little laptop fans that go up under something to keep it cool, because otherwise you're going to have a whole bunch of issues. All right, go ahead. Whatever else, I know you said you got to go to work, but go ahead. Whatever it is that you want to share. Wait, first, I already let Tracy did it. A lot of people, because like I say, I've spreaded this since I'm doing YouTube. I probably added probably 10 to 12 DJ groups that I had on my list, and so it's being shared there. So right now, I need to let everybody know who Mac Taylor is, who he represents, where can he be found, whatever it is that you got to share.
All right. My name is Mac Taylor, DJ Mac Taylor, originally from Detroit, Michigan. Currently been in Birmingham for the last 23, 24 years. Been DJing for 22 years. I own One Time Entertainment, professional DJ and lighting. I've been DJing since '97, but I've just recently, in the last couple of years, gotten into the lighting aspect of it and the sound aspect of it. I work at 98.7 Kiss AM. Kiss AM. 98.7 Kiss FM, the #1 station right here in Birmingham, Alabama, and where we play R&B and classic soul. I am a mix show DJ for them. Not yet on the air as far as the personality, but I'm working to get there. I spent my first 3 years on radio, WJLD radio here in Birmingham, where I was a personality. Had my own show called the Top House. So pretty versed. I grew up on Motown, Philadelphia soul, things like that. I really didn't know a lot about blues until I came down south, to be honest with you. Not that I can remember anyway. So Bobby Blue Bland, B.B. King, Johnny Taylor, things like that. I don't remember that growing up, so to speak. I'm sure I did hear some, but like I said, up north in Detroit, we were more so on Motown and Philadelphia soul. And other than that, man, I just love what I do. It's not about the money for me as much as it is about, what I love to hear people say is, man, I hadn't heard that in years. That's what I love. That's what I love. So I don't do any clubs anymore. Of course, I did that in my early years. I'm more into corporate events, private events, and weddings now. So that's pretty much me. We offer karaoke. We offer photo booth. We offer. My wife is a photographer. So that's pretty much it as far as One Time Entertainment is concerned. I've met a lot of great folks. Being a part of ATL, DJ Zone has been a huge help to me in my growth. I don't know who created the group. I don't even know how long the group's been up. But ever since I've been a part of the group, you can come on here and ask a question, knowledge-based question or whatever, and you'll get hundreds of answers. And it's just been a blessing to me, man. I tell you.
Cool. All right, Tracy, what else that you want to add that you were maybe holding back, that you was waiting for Mac to? Because I think it was something that you probably, I'm not for sure, with something that you want to say.
No, I think the whole day, in terms of just, I touched on it before, that everybody had a role to play. I think we all played our role. I think what ended up happening is Mac was able to really concentrate on those artists and the way that they were, bringing tracks to him all different ways that were, unorganized and that type of thing. So it took a lot. I'm thinking it took a lot of weight off of his shoulders. That I would just hang around by the console and just do what needed to be done there. So that was one less thing that he had to worry about, So we could kind of watch the whole stage from different perspectives while Mac was doing what he needed to do with the artist. I was there, hopefully, just making sure that the production stayed alive and call it feedback-free night.
Yeah, because I didn't ask Tracy to stay. I said, if you just come help me set up and help me understand the setup and why we connect this way and why we set this switch that way, that was all I was expecting from him to do. And of course, I asked him what would he charge me, and I was gonna pay him, above what he charged. And then when he came, he was like, well, I'm just gonna hang out for the whole day. And so my wife, was like, man, is he gonna run the board? And I was like, you need to learn the board, baby, because we're gonna have this board, and you need to learn it. And
going in and out, I can't hear.
So for years, I've been wrapping cables the wrong way, of course, and maybe it's just that lazy part of me. I don't know. It's just I find it easier to wrap it around my, the crazy
the arm, doing it around your arm. Okay, so what technique did you learn from Tracy?
Tracy said
like several techniques.
Learned from him, man. He got on us. I thought he was gonna take off his belt. He said, hey man. He said, what are y'all doing? What is this right here? You making my job harder. And because he wasn't just able to like fling out the cable, right? So he showed us how to wrap cable the correct way. And with the arm, and then when he got to this part right here, the underhand thing took me a couple times to get that, but I finally got it, and that was just funny, and he made us learn the right way. That was funny.
Okay, you gotta show me what technique that. So was it the it wasn't the around the arm? It was something different. Tracy, that's for you.
Oh yeah, it was the regular over and under, over and under winding of a cable.
Basically, keeping it where it's not twisted.
Yeah,
I think that's okay.
I probably have something here somewhere.
So what, Matt? What else did you learn from Gary? From Tracy. Oh, I think he dropped out.
Yeah, it's like he dropped out.
Okay, there you go. What else did you learn from Tracy?
Okay, so the cable connection, or as far as cables are concerned. So we had 3 amps, 1 mixer board. And so my question in my mind was like, okay, how are we gonna, of course we got 1 input into the mixer board. Well, where's the output gonna go from if you have 3 mixers? And so he showed us about that and how he chain linked, I guess is how you call it, chain linked the amplifiers to one another, whatever. And it was a lot. I really meant to take a picture of it before we broke down, but wasn't able to. But yeah, it was, well, we had started getting a little bit crunched on time. So he had to go out of teacher mode and into setup mode, because our goal was to, Tracy's like me. He likes to have the music playing 1 hour before the gates close, open, before the gates open. I always tell my clients, I always guarantee them that the music will be playing by the time your first client walks in. That no client
people are listening to something while they conversating or just walking around or whatever. They're just not walking around in dead air.
Right. Nobody should walk in and see you still running around setting up. That's how I am. And obviously Tracy's the same way.
Another tip to learn: make sure you're there early enough before the client or before the guests get there, and have some music going. Whether it's, even if it's to the point where you're still doing maybe minor stuff, maybe setting up lights or whatever, have some background music, a CD or a pre-made set available so you can play, and people are not coming in to emptiness. They're coming in to hear something.
We were there by what time, Tracy? 10:30, 11 o'clock?
Yeah, it's like 10:30 when we got there. Yeah.
And the gate didn't open till 3 o'clock. And we were there before the promoter was there.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and but basically, like I said, if Tracy hadn't brought his 2 amplifiers that he just had in his van, we would have been screwed.
So now I know you was telling me earlier about that. So what, the amps weren't working, period, or they wasn't sufficient enough for what you needed to use?
I mean, Tracy, I found out earlier, Tracy, when I took the one amp that I rented, the PVI P5000, the black one, the real light one. I took it back. And he looked on the back, and one of the switches, there's a switch back there that says subwoofer, full range, and whatever else it says. It's like 3 positions. And it was stuck. The switch was stuck or whatever in a position, which is why we wasn't getting the sound out of that number 2 channel. But when he put his knife on it, he tested it and it came through.
But here's what happened. I mean, we had it working there for a second, but when you on the channel 2, you would, like on the volume control, if you pluck it, it would come on. So maybe it was working, by the time it got juggled in the truck, maybe it was working. But certainly that on that day, that channel 2 pot, there was a problem with it.
And as far as the other 2 other 2 amplifiers that we had, the ones that I own, the Alto and the
Crown,
XCL, XL, or whatever, 650, whatever. Now those
602, XL 602.
Yeah.
When I tested those last week, here's how I tested them. I set up a table at that storage unit that you saw, Tracy. And all I did was I brought my little portable generator, the one Kenyan that I just bought for $300, my 2200 watt, and I plugged the amplifier into it, and my laptop, and my small SB. I'm sorry, hold on. I went from my I went from my SB3 and my MacBook into my Go rack, and that's how I tested the 2 amps with one with a speak on to 1/4 inch.
Okay.
And I plugged it in all ports of each 4 of the speakers.
So now, what was up with the Alto and the Crown?
I don't know.
It was like one of them, the channel 2, the XLR input. Like you had to jiggle it to get it to work. Like this is not going to make it through the day. So instead of trying to troubleshoot it, I just went into my van and just grabbed a rack that I know it's been pretty reliable because we were running out of time. Just didn't have any more time to troubleshoot, so I just switched up.
Now let me ask you this, since it came up, because I brought it to Mac's attention earlier. You were interested in getting what's the one that the single space rack amp that you used? Was it the PV?
Yes.
You was looking at something like that, and I mentioned that. Have you ever used any of the Behringer racks? And I showed them because I know a lot of people been talking about the Behringer amps. I don't know whether it was the one, I can't remember, one called Euro something. What was it? Euro something? I don't know. I could probably bring it up. It's Euro, and then
Euro power ones like the 2500s or the 35. I think it's
yeah. And then they got another series called. I couldn't remember which one that a lot of people were saying that were good amps to have. Have you ever used those before?
I had. The last amp I've ever used was the big PVCS 800.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 No!
That was like 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, I had one too. Them things weigh what about probably about 80 pounds.
Yeah, they were like
Like a tank. You could throw them off the back
80
of a truck.
pounds.
No, I never wanted. I saw one of those. I saw one of those at Guitar Center, and it was $40. I was really tempted to get it, but I don't think I would have made it home.
Just for the heck of it, right?
Yeah, I guess they just said $40 it'll sell, but
Yeah, you can find a 1200. If you can find one of those brown CS 1200s, I'll take them all day. For real.
So I sent the ones that you sent me, Kenya. I sent those to Tracy earlier and asked him what he thought about them. Tracy,
I thought they were a little light for what Mac is going toward, and you know, I think they were good a generation ago, but I mean for the price, they looked like they were, you know, could have been worth it. But I think you know, I think Mac's he's on a different level. I think, you know, where he's trying to go. I'm probably going to suggest something else.
what about the PV that he used? Because I know he said he wants something like that's powerful, but then that's lightweight.
Yeah, those are the PVIPRs. They have the sister amp is a Crest something, you know, and some of those new IPR2s, they have DSP built into them. Those are pretty nice amps when they're working good, you know, and they've been reliable for a lot of people. Some pretty big sound companies use the Crest version, which is really the same, just, you know, branded a little different. There's nothing wrong with those amps.
Now, you know what? I know probably don't want to hear this, but I think I actually saw one of those in that PV auction a few weeks ago. Maybe about 3. I know I remember seeing some Crest audio amps, and I think I saw probably at least 2 or 3 auctions with PV amps on them, with just, you know, PA amps, because they had a lot of guitar stuff too, but just PA stuff. And I think maybe one, it may not be the single rack what you saw, but I know I saw a couple of the double space rack amps, which is, yeah, they could be heavy. They could be like up to about 60 pounds, but you said that one you had, it was light to where you could hold it with 2 fingers.
Yeah, it was still 2-space rack, but it's the, you know, those PVs that are new, that Class D, so they're very light. They don't have those really big power supplies like the older amps do, you know. So it is pretty light. And as a matter of fact, the electronics that are in those is probably no bigger than like an iPhone 7. All the electronics that's inside of it takes up very little space inside that box.
So my first priority is to make sure I have the power that I need. Second is weight. I'm not so much concerned about the weight because I can get a Gator box that's got wheels on it. That Gator box I have right now, like Tracy saw, didn't have wheels on it, and that joker was heavy as freak. So long as I have a Gator, you know, if I can get a 3-space Gator box with wheels on it and the handle, I can really care less about the weight. But I just want to make sure that my next purchase on amp will cover that I can use those same 6 speakers, Tracy, those 2 subs and the 4 SP4s, and not have any problems.
Right.
And go out and
so
cover.
About how much power you think you need for that?
RMS. I would say, you know, probably 2,500 watts, 300 watts, 3,000 watts maybe per channel on each bass cabinet.
Yeah,
RMS.
Yeah. You know, because there are low riders in those, so that's 1,600 watts RMS. So you probably need, you know, it's a bass cabinet, so I like to go almost 2x RMS, 1.5 at least, you know.
Okay.
So probably, you know, 3,000 watts at 4 ohms on the bass, and then 2 amps that can do maybe 1,500 watts at 4 ohms per channel.
Okay, so when you say 3,000 watts, does the sub need to indicate that it's 3,000 watts RMS?
The sub needs to indicate.
I mean, not the sub. I'm sorry, the amp.
Yeah, 3,000 watts at 4 ohms.
Look at the RMS. Look at the RMS.
Yeah.
Or what RMS, and sometimes they use continuous or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And peak.
No, peak is
more of a speaker term.
Peak is what you usually see in the ad.
Okay.
Just like the generator that you got. Those generator, it says 2,000 watts, which that's peak. But then you
Right.
see a smaller number up under, and I think it may be like 1,600 or
Right.
something. That's what it'll put out continuous. So that same
Okay.
thing will apply to when you're looking at amps. That you don't want to look at the peak. The peak is what the manufacturer tries to sell you to. But you really never see peak, or peak is only for a short break time.
Okay. Okay.
So always look for RMS, because it can make a big difference. Like the which one is it? I still got the stuff written on the whiteboard. I think it was the Alto that you had that had like 2,000 watts or something like that. But once we got down to looking at everything, it was like
Right.
100 watts RMS. So I always look at RMS or continuous, no matter what.
I guess I need to look at either Crown or QSC and don't mess with nothing else.
And there are a couple other brands out there. It really depends. I mean, you can get a one space power soft that's enough for the 4 speakers. There's a lot of choices, but it really depends on the budget. And
you said a one space unit.
Yeah.
That will handle the 4 SP4s.
Yeah.
And what is that?
That's a power saw. But then again, now you're going to start to, you'll need AC power. You need to be able to get power from the wall. So that's why I generally break amps up into 2 or 3 so I can put the amp on a different circuit. Otherwise, if I need 3,000 watts out of one amp, I can't get that out of a regular wall plug, right? I need to go with 220 or something like that. You can only get 1,700 watts out of the wall, out of one circuit, right? So if I got a 2,000 watt amp, I'm barely enough on just a regular house circuit. It's barely enough for bass anyway. So it doesn't always pay. And at the circuit that where we plug it into the wall, it doesn't always pay to get these great big huge amps. It's you generally don't want to go anymore to maybe a 2,000 watt amp to pull off your regular house current, or the current that you would generally find in a lot of these halls where we play.
Okay, so let me ask you something. You just said something about needing DC current, DC power.
No, if I said that, I don't think that's what I was referring to.
Okay.
You
meant more AC current.
AC current.
A 110 or 120, bump it up to a 220.
Right.
Which, something like maybe what you use in the house, your AC unit may use a 220. Water heater may use a 220. Washer, fire, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, some venues
uses that.
Right, but that's not generally available in a lot of the places where we play. So you have to really kind of scale out your system so that you can split up your amps into different circuits. Kind of like the way we did. We put the bass amp on one circuit, and then we put the other amps on a different circuit.
Is that where a distro box comes into handy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I found out about that a couple weeks ago for the first time. I had never heard the term before. But I didn't realize that when I went up to the Boutwell and I DJ at the Boutwell, they have a big box sitting on the side of the stage. It's got several outlets in it, and that's a distro box. I didn't know that.
Right. So the amps that we used, you can run them at 220 or you can run them at 110. They're a little bit more efficient when you run them at 220, but they'll actually play a lot more efficient than the way they even played when we use the 110 current.
I'm going to get me some of those cords that you got.
All right. Yeah. So what we use for the
based on what you're saying off the now, you use a distro box. I never used one, but I know somewhat about it. Would you use those mostly when you're dealing with large passive systems, or would you also use them if you had like active systems that are using maybe close to about that same amount of power?
It depends on the power requirements. You know, you have some venues that have a whole bunch of 20 amp circuits along the wall, right? They deliver, they have their own, in-house distribution. They have the 220 circuits that are broken down into 110. You might see some outlets, some are red, some are blue. Even in your computer room, you see some red, some blue. They're 220 circuit that's split in half. So whether if the venue does it, fine. But if you need to do it yourself, then the distro box can come in handy. If you can tap into, especially in a hotel, if you can tap into a 50 amp circuit, and then you can bring that one 50 amp circuit to where you are, and then you can plug up, all your stuff to those circuits.
Because I've been to some venues, particularly hotels, like you mentioned. They'll be like, you could. We only want you to use this outlet right here. This is a 220 or whatever the case may be, whatever they said. And I was like, well, what difference does it make?
Right.
But yeah.
So you get two 110 circuits and a return and a ground, right? So it's all right there for you, as much power as you probably would need, and it's separate from lights and separate from the refrigerators and that type of stuff. So okay. Yeah, so sometimes I'll use the distro box, and even the way I set up sometimes, I'll if I don't have that handy, I'll set up in a way that I'm not pulling more than 20 amps from one circuit. We can talk about that.
You own a distro box?
Yeah, I have a couple.
He said a couple. He didn't say one. He said a couple.
Right?
He said a couple. So we looking at more than two.
Right.
So we got two distro boxes. We don't even need to think about what equipment that he had that he can connect to it. But I'm sure he got enough to where he can fill them both up.
Look, he said it so modestly too. He said,
I got a couple. So what did you? How much power did you bring out, Trace?
You said what power amps did I bring?
Yeah, how much power did you bring out? Because from what it sounds like, y'all had to work. I'm sure the location didn't have a distro box, but I heard that y'all said that they had several circuits, so y'all had to clip or instead of going into one outlet or one area, you probably had to plug into different places in order to get different power for the equipment that you needed.
Yeah, the power was kind of janky. I mean, I have like a little $5 little tester to let me know how clean the power is, and the power was iffy from the beginning. But we had 320 amp circuits to run with, and it was an open ground, so it was just like, you're in the country. So we had 320 amp circuits. So I ran one circuit, we ran the bass amp on, and then we split the other stuff up, to the other, across the other two circuits. So the whole venue, we used 60 amps of power.
Okay, so explain this to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you said we had 3 circuits.
Yes.
All right. So break it down for me, explain it to me, because I don't know anything about that, other than when I took airframe mechanics in school. But okay, so the main box in the front, they had the hole in the front of the stage.
Yes.
Is that considered one circuit, or is that 4 circuits?
That would be 3. That was probably one main 60 amp feed, and 3 broken down into 320 amp circuits.
3? Well, they had 4 outlets in it, right?
No, I thought there were 3. If there were 4, then we had 80 amps, and I just didn't realize it. But I thought there were 3. When I went out to the main breaker, there were 320 amp breakers.
Under the stage. Now I'm talking about under the stage. I'm not talking about the box on the pole.
Yeah, but what was under the stage was probably, it was 4 outlets, but in total it was only 20 amps.
Okay. So is that considered a circuit itself?
Yes. So a circuit would be whatever's, like whatever's at the breaker box. That would be one circuit. Whatever's coming, like that one on and off switch at the breaker box.
Okay.
That would be considered one circuit.
Okay.
In this case, that would be one circuit. Yeah. That's what we had to work with. So we had the right amount of power for the equipment that we used.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you didn't use that sub on this own specific, that could have caused a lot of issues. If that sub blows, you would still have the rest of your audio, music, and lights and whatever off the other circuit, and you just have to say, well, okay. I mean, you'll be able to notice instantly that breaker had tripped, and you just go over and flip it, and you'll be back up in a minute. But if you had more stuff on it, you wouldn't know exactly what would go out. So yeah, having that, because that one is going to drain the most power, having that circuit different than everything else is something that you got to remember to do, especially when you got high powered subs, when you're dealing with a lot of power. So what the amp that you use for the subs, what was the ratings on that?
It's a Crown iTech 8000, and it's properly powered. It can do 4,000 watts a channel at 4 ohms.
All I got to say, I know we didn't have no issues after he brought his amps out. That's all I got to say.
So what else did you use? What else did you bring to use?
That was a Crown XTI 4000 that we used on one pair of the SP4s. It was a pretty good match.
I mean, Tracy said we had a good amount of reserve power left, that we could have used. So
yeah, I
know it was top notch.
Yeah, the bass amp, it had a lot of reserve.
Now, and I think I may have asked this. I don't know whether this picture was from last year or the year before last. Did you use your Mackie thumps?
No, we didn't use those this year.
So that was a picture from last year.
No, we did put them on top because we thought we were gonna need them, because on one set of those PV SP4s, the horn was gone, and I had just replaced that horn, but I think it may be a crossover problem. Like Tracy said, maybe a crossover problem.
Right.
Okay, so you had one horn that wasn't playing, so one side was kind of a little bit lower than the rest.
Right, but you couldn't tell. You really couldn't tell.
Now let me ask you this, because I had mentioned this to you. How was the sub set up? Did you have both subs set up in the middle between the tops, or you had one with each top?
Yeah. They're about 20 feet apart from each other.
Okay, so you had them spread out, not because I was telling them that that where they run in stereo or bridge.
The bass was mono. I mean, they're not bridge, but it was a mono signal. So I mean, the amp was set up in stereo, but it was a mono signal coming out of it.
Okay, gotcha.
So it wasn't like the amp was not bridged, if that's what you mean. It was dual. It was, each channel was discrete.
Gotcha. All right, well, I'm glad everything worked out, because I was like, I was looking at the specs that he had. I'm like, is this about more or less than what you had last year? Because last year he was able to get by, and the event turned pretty good, but then he was using a different setup than what he did last year. If he had what he had last year, then you'll know that, okay, as long as the crowd is not extremely large as what it was last year, to where the sound wouldn't carry throughout, then you have an issue. But he kind of changed up a lot of stuff and added more stuff, and I don't know. But since you said the turnout was like 1/3 of what it was last year, I'm sure the sound probably went well farther than what it needed to go.
Yeah, I didn't hear any complaints. Normally if things weren't right, you'd hear some people grumbling underneath. So I think everything went, as well as expected.
That's good. Good to know that everything turned out well. All right, guys. What else that y'all got to add real quick? I mean, I don't have nobody else that wants to come on, but look like Matt getting ready to go to work.
Yeah. Only thing I got to add is one more time. I know I can't say it enough, but Tracy, man, I appreciate you, man. Everything you did and you showed me, you taught me or whatever. But you took a lot off my plate, like you said earlier. I was just able to concentrate on DJing and taking care of the artist music, and didn't have to worry about the engineering side of it and whatnot. And you did your thing, man. And it was just awesome, awesome.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. I'll do it again whenever you're ready.
All right.
Thank you up on that. You just said that you recorded on video, so he will be like, "Wait a minute, Kenya, where's that video again? Where's that video again? I need him to go."
And he a soldier, man, because he drove look, we were out there like had to be 12 hours, bro. 11, 12 hours, and he drove. He was at my house. He was at my house at 8:30, just like I asked him to be. And so it was more than a 12-hour day for him. And then he drove right back to Atlanta the same night. I don't know how he did it.
It's old school, man.
I don't know how he did it.
Got up and barbecued.
Glad that he did
it. All right, y'all. I got to get ready to go out here and protect and serve. I appreciate you.
All right, man. We'll catch you later.
It's always a pleasure. One love, man.
All right, peace.
Mac Taylor out. All right, Tracy. What else? What else that you want to add?
I don't know. I think just if the topic swerve a little bit over to Southern Soul. I think it's a genre. That event. What interested me most was to be around the circuit. It's a region. Some people would consider it regional. The Southern Soul blues music. It's been very popular in the South for a long time. There are probably, I don't know, a dozen good regional events that take place in the summer, from the trail rides in Texas, the blues shows that happen all around. The season starts in the spring with the spring fling in Mobile, and then there are, all summer long, probably 25, 30 different artists and groups that are performing across the South, right? So you got these songs like Mel Waiter, Got My Whiskey, or Pokey with that song called Side Piece, right? Yeah. So those are a couple of the signature songs that are Southern Soul. And there's been a lot of talk this year about that music breaking out and becoming national. So out here in Atlanta, you have a couple of video shows that have emerged with Polka Jones, a couple others. Yeah, you have some terrestrial radio syndication that's starting to take place with the Boogie Report. Jay Boogie has a blues show. There's talk about nationally syndicating this music. There's just a lot of talk about taking this genre that's music of the South and the blues and really making it national. I just saw Billboard or the media-based charts, the urban chart, the adult contemporary chart, where mostly like your gospel and the slow jams, the Quiet Storm type music. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple Southern Soul songs that are charted nationally. And when Side Piece, I don't think it ever really charted nationally, but it is a popular song. We all know it. Got My Whiskey, I don't think it ever charted nationally, but everybody, it's a go-to song for the old school crowd, right? So my interest in joining the event with Mac was to really continue to just become more aware of what's happening regionally. Even now on the weekends, you have Saturday and Sunday night here in Atlanta, where you have the venues that are specializing in the Southern Soul and blues. So I just want to encourage the DJs that are playing for 35 and older to get your Southern Soul up, because it's already, you know, all throughout the South, and it's not. I don't think it's doing as well in Atlanta as it could, and I think this could be a launching pad, the same way we saw 20, 25 years ago. You know, the trap or the dirty South music. I think there's another wave that's going to hit in the next year or so, where the Southern Soul music is going to really break out. I was in West Virginia as a party that I do every year, the last Saturday in July, and we've been doing this party for the last 17 years. And so, you know, the party, we did it, you know, Saturday is free. It's like a community event. But then on Sunday, we went back to tear down the tent and everything. And there were people still in that yard that were partying. And there was a group of ladies that were sitting and drinking their Heineken on a Sunday afternoon. And somebody had a boom box. And for the first time, I'm listening to these, you know, these my hometown people. And they were listening to the Southern Soul show. And I know that was music that they weren't playing this time last year. So I can tell you that, you know, there's a whole genre that's emerging that I like to encourage all these DJs to really start to participate in and, you know, mark your claim, because this music is breaking and it's not taking the radio to do it. It's another one of those situations where it's something that's happening organically. It's been happening in the South for the last decade. You know, there's a lot of shows. Some like the Spring Fling probably have 15,000 people. Maybe they do it every year. It's music that's breaking out that everybody says DJs don't break records, but there's a movement that's happening that it's happening organically, and radio is following it. Like, you know, just mentioning some stations, you know, the what's his name? Blues Doctor, Ron, the Blues Doctor. He has a show every Friday that he's been playing his music for, you know, the last 10 years or whatever. And he's been a staple in the Atlanta community for the last 40 years, but he was kind of the only one. And now you see Classic 102. They have a show on Sunday where they're playing the Southern Soul exclusively for a couple hours. So it's something that's taken place that it emerged from the South, emerged from, you know, the old Chitlin circuit, and now it's starting to get radio play, and it's going national and even international. So you don't want to miss it.
I'm jotting something down right now. I'm trying to jot down questions that I want to ask you based off what you're saying. And the two that I have right now, I think you may have mentioned one, because I'm originally from Mississippi. So
Okay.
blues and Southern Soul is what I grew up on. Our commercial radio station, all they played was blues and R&B. I worked there. I interned there for probably about a week. I didn't like it. It wasn't. I mean, they started me out at the graveyard shift, working the overnight. So I got to play a lot of this stuff, R&B and blues, all night long. It wasn't what I wanted to do, and I ended up doing something else. But that was the only station. We didn't have a rap station. The closest rap station was either Tuscaloosa or Birmingham, where Mac is, and that's about an hour to 2 hours away, or either Jackson, Mississippi, which was still another 2 hours away. So the blues is what everybody listened to. I listened to it whenever I was around my folks. I listened to it whenever you are around in town. And the only other thing that, I mean, hip hop and rap did take off, but it was different. You didn't hear a lot of East Coast like Biggie, and I mean, you heard more pop because a lot of guys like a lot of West Coast stuff. You didn't hear a lot of Biggie and Jay-Z and Nas and stuff like that.
Right.
It was mostly all Southern rappers, like maybe 666 Mafia or Skinny Pimp or Master P.
So yeah, they come out of St. Louis or even Texas. And,
Yep. Either South or Midwest or whatever, but everybody listen to the blues.
That's right.
Young or old, they listen to the blues. You could go to whatever club was playing that night, and whenever they played blues, the party still stayed on. It could have been nothing but 20 and 30-year old.
Right.
Play some blues, they still on the flow, depending on what you're playing. So I know that the blues has been well overdue to come out into the light for reaching syndication and going nationwide. I don't know why it hasn't happened, why blues is only regional based, because some people, and when I came to Atlanta, I noticed that there was no places that played blues.
Right.
There was no blues radio stations. When I scanned for radio stations to program into the car, there were no blues stations. The closest was the R&B stations, which I can't remember which one at the end of the century, right before 2000, was even close to. But I mean, there wasn't any, and that's the I guess the first question that I wanted to ask you, since you may know, what venues here in Atlanta that you can go to that plays Southern soul and blues, because I may have relatives or somebody that may come here, and that's probably what they want to hear. That's what they want to check out. What's the blues in this area? They may not want to check out a lot of the music that's out now. They may want to hear some classics.
Right.
So I mean, and then I don't think we have a lot of DJs in the zone that are well diverse in the Southern soul. So I guess after you answer that question, the next one that I want to ask, what record pools can you get Southern soul and blues from now?
All right. So I'll start.
Label Malaco Records, which is out of Jackson. That used to be like the Motown for blues.
Right. The CDS, that's another big label.
Exactly. If they're still in operation now. I mean, I used to deal with them when I worked in radio back in Mississippi. So, I mean, I don't know exactly if a lot of the Southern soul and blues artists, I know that they're all independent. They're all indies.
Right.
I don't know of any that's on like maybe a major label or either an independent label that may be distributed by majors. So mostly everybody is handled independently. But the first question, what venues?
Well, and I don't want to leave anybody out, but the ones that I'm seeing right now that are trying the hardest on Sunday, the Magnolia Lounge, and it's down on the south side. Backstage with Polka Jones. Again, he has a video show that he's doing, but he's also promoting. He's playing Southern soul, and there's artists that are coming in. A DJ CLJ and Mr. Melvin, another DJ that they're doing Sunday nights at Magnolia Lounge. This weekend, I know that there's the Atrium is doing Southern soul, that same circuit. Jeter Jones, they'll be in town for the weekend. So those are the places. Sweet Georgia. Trying to think of the name of the place. Sweet Georgia's Juke Joint. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah. I don't know if it's sweet. I know where you talk. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So they might feature it every once in a while, and then other than that, it's just you see some promoters that are trying to do a show here and there. But I think certainly Atlanta has the opportunity. What we see mostly is the big events, like you'd see a Sir Charles come to town or something like that, and then they would go to like Lakewood or somewhere like that, and it's where the venue seems like it draws more people than the artists. People get used to going to a place where it's a BYOB affair or whatever. Oh, it's going to be the blues, so we're just all going. It doesn't really matter who the artist is. So that's. So I think there's a huge opportunity for any club that will want to try it, that will want to promote it. I'm trying to think of. So again, I don't really want to leave anybody out, but there have been some venues that have tried it that just haven't been able to just year after year just maintain it, you know. And I'm not quite sure, you know, what the reason is that it just hasn't taken off in Atlanta the way it has, like in a Mobile or you know, San Antonio, Texas, or other, you know, Killeen, or you know, places in the Deep South. It's a shame. Even in Jackson, you know, they say it's like the birth of the birthplace of the Southern Soul, and they hardly have a venue where they have Southern Soul music playing every weekend, and it's kind of a shame. They have a radio station that features it at night. You know, that certainly gets enough airplay. It's, you know, there's some local regional radio stations that are playing the blues, but it just doesn't seem like we have embraced it, you know, to make it more national. But I think what will end up happening is this music will get syndicated, and it's going to take on an audience appreciation that it never had before. You know, like a hip hop, you know, other demographics, you know, is like the reggae. It wasn't really it really didn't hit until they really didn't make millions of dollars until the Japanese started to listen to it, right?
Oh, so the Japanese blew up reggae?
Yeah, actually, it was a Japanese lady that really got VP Records, you know, the #1 reggae label. That, you know, she was a Japanese, or I don't know if she's Japanese or Chinese lady, Miss Pat.
Now, was she based out of Jamaica, or was she based out of Chinese? Or
she was in New York, and Miami. Yep. So same thing here with the Southern Soul. Somebody's going to pick it up. Somebody's going to be able to commercialize it, monetize it, and then it'll be popular, and it'll be another genre that somebody stole, right? But I think there's even more of an opportunity for you know, for the South to claim its own music and to make it more popular. And it's good music. It's clean. It's you know, a lot of the
some of it is clean.
Well, you know, some of it is.
It's not as bad as rap music, but
right. But there, some of it does have its adult content, that type of thing.
Yeah, it can get really raunchy.
Oh yeah. But anyway, so that's kind of my take. You asked about the record pools, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you how I happened upon. I think I have, you know, most of the catalog at this point, but it wasn't a record pool where I got it. It was more of like I did this weekend. It was more networking. There's a couple artists that performed that they're you know, and I introduced myself, and the first thing they say, "Hey, do you have my music?" I'm like, "I'm a DJ. Do you have my music?" "Yeah, I have most of it, but can you send me what you're pushing right now?" So a couple of those artists that were there, I'm like, "Look, are you pushing your music?" "Yeah, send it to me." I made, if you check my Facebook, you'll see I'm friends with, you know, probably 150 blues artists, and it's very organic. I'm not just grabbing it from every place. I'm reaching out to the people, and because the music is reaching the artists are approachable. You know, hit them up on Facebook and say, "Hey, send me your song." If you're out, especially if you're out playing somewhere all the time. It's people have been very open, and because it's an independent genre, people are more apt to give you promotional material, and that's good and bad too, because what I'm finding is you have some artists that are more technically savvy, so they give you good 320 MP3 files, good high quality broadcast quality files. You have others that are, you know, they're not so savvy, and they try to send you, you know, Windows Media files. So there's a lot of education that needs to take place. So they're out there, artists, they're out there playing every week. They're out there singing, but they don't really have the wherewithal to promote their own music. And I think the artists who have been more successful, they've been able to tap into better promotion streams. You know, they've been better at it. Or they, you know, now, you know, some have actually enlisted promotion teams to, you know, you just end up getting on a list, and, you know, if you follow some of these genres, you know, these blues groups or the Facebook groups, somebody will say, "Hey, I have this song out. Put your email here, and I'll send you my latest song." So that email list ends up being somebody else's email list and somebody else's email list, and before you know it, you're getting 2 or 3 songs a day, and that's where I am right now.
Yeah, so I'm looking because, like I said, I don't know where to find blues artists. I mean, I can go home, or I can call up my cousin, and he can tell me where he get his music from. But being in this area and being still in the South, because a lot of them aren't syndicated. They're not on major labels, so you probably won't find them on BPM. You probably won't find them on Franchise or
you're not gonna see them on all the urban pools or
stuff like that.
Right.
The only way that you're going to be able to get to them is go to one of their shows and say, "Hey, I'm a DJ. I want to spin your music. I like your music. I want to spin it." Last question that I want to ask, and the term Southern Soul, is that like a sub genre for blues, or has that split up to where there's a difference between blues and Southern Soul, just like there's different types of house music. Like,
it depends on who you ask, right?
Your house, and you have your what is it? Your
like your deep house, progressive house, jacking house, Afro house, right? You have all those different genres of house. But in the case of the blues, it's all the blues. But as a musician, there's what some might call traditional blues. The 12-bar blues, like your Stevie Ray Vaughan and your B.B. Kings, the jump blues. It has that swing beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Southern blues. Some people call it liquor house music or shot house music, or everybody has their own term for it. But I think the industry's calling it. Some people even call it soul blues because it's a straight beat. It's like R&B, but it has the Southern, the Southern lyrics, right? Mm-hmm. My baby left me for my best friend, and that type of stuff. It's still bluesy. It has the blues lyrics, but the R&B beat. Right. But for what I'm talking about, it's modern. You have some people that they're saying, "Oh, it's not blues anymore," because you have people using drum machines where it used to be live bands, and now they're using all synthesizers and stuff like that. So people are thinking that the genre's going away from its roots, but really what it is just a new generation is starting to embrace it, and I think it's good for. I think it's good for it. We don't still listen to the music like we used to listen to in the 60s or 70s. You know what I mean? It evolved. It's still soul music. It's still R&B, but it just doesn't sound like it used to sound, right? And it's the same thing. It's another generation with new themes, so to speak.
Wow, that's knowledge right there. All right. Well, it is almost, we are closing in the 2 hours. I got one more thing that I want to do real quick, but thank you for being here to start off early, because I thought I was going to have to fill in until you and Matt got here, but man, you was able to have a conversation before then Matt got here. We was able to talk a lot about the event, and we got that over, and I didn't realize the time had slipped by, and it's over an hour and a half that we've been here, and I still want to slip something else in before I get ready to go, because I'm out of water, and I'm sure I'm gonna be dehydrating soon, because it's kind of humid down here in the basement where I am. And I just want to thank you and Matt for joining me, and hopefully, at this point right now, I'm hoping to get at least somebody on, maybe 2 or 3 people every week, to where a discussion. But the thing is, you are always welcome, because I mean, you may have a lot more knowledge than I do. Because you dealt with a whole bunch of different stuff as for pro audio than what I have, but I mean I can adapt to stuff easily. You could tell me something, I could be like, oh, that makes sense. Or no, that won't work because of something, blah blah blah. I may be able to figure something out, but your presence is always welcome whenever I'm doing the show. Remember, Tuesday 9:30. If I'm not tied up doing anything else, I think now I'm about to get back into Cub Scouts with one of my sons. So
Okay.
I may be doing it on and off, but I'm gonna try to have it to where I have some type of topic, and I will have all the information shared so everybody would know what's going on or whatever. But like I say, thanks for joining in, and especially Mac out there. Thank you too, and hope to catch y'all real soon, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me. And
all right, no problem. See you later.
All right, bye.
All right, one thing I want to do real quick before I get off, like I said, I've shared this to a lot of Facebook groups, and some of the Facebook groups have seen this information, and some of the groups haven't. So I'm just gonna go ahead and re-show this video again, but let me explain. I'm promoting something up. A lot of you guys have seen this. And let me get the stuff out of here. About a few months ago, in one of the groups, I had one of the guys. There was one of the guys that mentioned, and it happens in a whole bunch of posts where you have people that mention headphones. What's a good headphone to use when DJing? Now, this one particular brand, which is a Chinese brand that I had been watching for a while because they made a headphone that has a total of 12 drivers, 6 drivers in each ear, 6 in this one, 6 in this one, to where you had I can't remember the size of it, maybe a 52 millimeter or something like that. That produced your lows, and then you had another one that was a little bit smaller that produced, or maybe 2 of them that produce your mid-range, and then you had a cluster of them that produce your highs. So basically you had like a 3-way speaker playing, but in your headphones, to where everything was sounding crisp and clear. Now, unfortunately, that company, that model went discontinued. That was like 2-3 years ago. And how I found out about it was that another company rebranded. The company that rebranded is called Waves. I think the model that they have now are the Waves RT01. I don't know. I've seen it for the first time recently at DJ's Day Out, and I'll post links if you want to join to see what the event that we have going on here in Atlanta every year. DJ's Day Out. We just had DJ's Day Out number 8 this year, and the headphones that I recommended in that post were called the Bluetooth Turbine. Right here. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna try to get a different angle so y'all can see overhead. We go to my overhead view. Overhead. Now, like I said, these are the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth T2S turbine. You can find them on Amazon. They run for white and black. I think it's $25. For blue and red. Blue and red is about, and let me hold them up so you can get a good look. This is the box. This is the actual headphones right here. And I'm not going to get into much. I'm not going to do a lot of talking as for as for what they do, I think the video that I'm about to play covers a lot. But like I say, they 25. I've seen them on eBay, which I don't really deal with eBay. You could probably find them on eBay for 20, but I'm comfortable getting them for Amazon, spending the $5 extra and getting them even faster because I have a Prime account. So these are the headphones that I recommend. The video that I'm about to play is going to tell you a lot about it. And let me see if I got it ready. All right, let me go back to this view and pull up my screen. To where I got everything set up. Now, like I said, these are the turbines. And it better not start. And it's about to start. Yo, what's up, everybody? All right, let me go back because my video is starting without
the Kydd here. We at DJ's Day Out. They about to get
stop.
ready to wrap it up right now. Introducing a lot of DJs to
Okay, the stream.
the headphones that I've been telling a lot about in the group.
All right, now I had to
These are the Bluetooth T2 turbines. Now, the reason why
Let me shut some windows down because I think I have
I
to.
recommend these first based off the visuals.
All right, hold on a second. Having technical difficulties.
I saw that the cup swivels. So you never have to move them off your
All right, come on now.
head. You just move them. You just move them off your ear. That's another thing. And I've had a couple of these before. I've had headphones that are Bluetooth. This is
Okay, I am back. And why am I back with two screens? All right, let me try that again because I had a glitch. All right, let me stop this and I'm gonna find the actual final video and we'll just forget about doing that version. I was gonna play it from YouTube because I think I edited the video from the computer that I do my video editing from, and so not for sure that I have it on this one, but let me see if I have it saved to this one. Right, I'm gonna have to do it. Get this one on. Flash drive. Yep, forgot I had put it on flash drive. Yeah. Hold on a second. I will be right back. I left the flash drive. Find out which flash drive that I put it on. All right, real quick question for those that are watching out there. And what me and Tracy was talking about earlier, or the question that I asked him about we was talking about Southern Soul. Where do y'all get your Southern Soul from? Those of you that play Southern Soul. Is it something that you want to pick up and start learning to do, or is it something that you may not be into? Because like I say, Southern Soul is going to be something that's going to be it's going to be like he was saying, it's going to be something that you want to look at to do in the next couple of years. All right, I got the video up. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the Kydd here. We at DJ's Day Out. They're about to get ready to wrap it up right now. All right, and I'm ready to start, but for some reason, it's not running as smooth as what I wanted it, but we're gonna go with it anyway. I'll post a link to where you can watch it on YouTube because I have it up on YouTube right now. But I'm just gonna go ahead and play the video. It may be choppy. I don't know why, because I'm playing it from a good flash drive and it's plugged into a super speed USB 3.0 port. So I don't know, because I'm shut down some of my programs that I don't need. Close this window. All right, need to do a share screen. All right, let's see if this play. Here we go.
It's lightweight, nice sound, swivel ears, Bluetooth. Got the 40-inch so you can hook it up to your set. They loud as hell. I love them. Lightweight. Yeah, that's something I can get into, man. This is nice.
What up, world? Boy, DJ Kevin Clutch. I'm up here listening to these headphones. Joints sounding real great. I like how the way they feel. It's not heavy on my ears. It's pretty fit just right. I might have to get these when I go DJ. Sounds clear also too. That's what I meant to say.
Hey, Turbines by Bludio. Man, hey, I'm DJ HC, and I stand by these wireless headphones, man. I know you can't hear them, but off the chain. Beats, y'all better be looking out. Oh, wow, yeah. They Bluetooth, they wireless. DJs, hey, you got to get on them. You got to get on them. One time, I'm DJ HC. I love this product, and I stand by it. DJ's Day Out, we love it. So Bludio, next year, we need you to sponsor us, all right? Yes.
Hey y'all, this is DJ Said the Saint, and I'm listening to Bludio. Is that how you say it? Yeah, these turbine headphones, and they're pretty legit. What I like about them a lot is the swivel right here. But then when you put them on, it's like everything silences. Like it's really amazing, actually. Never heard of them, but definitely love them. They're wireless too, which is pretty dope. Yeah, I'm actually gonna find out where you got these from. So Amazon, $30. Okay. Yeah, appreciate it. This is really dope.
What up, yo? It's DJ Logic, Atlanta's own DJ Logic, aka Logistical Styles. Checking out these Bludio headphones, Bluetooth. This is the turbine model. They sound really, really good, and they feel really durable. Strong metal, headband, swivel, so you can rock it like DJs do. All different positions. Sound good. Definitely isolate the outside noise. Bluetooth, volume controls inside, power up. Look like it might be a winner on the low. You know what I'm saying? You might want to check these out. I think Amazon, Bludio, Turbine, Logistical Styles.
Yo, what up, world? This is DJ Machete X, and I'm out here at the 2019 DJ's Day Out in Atlanta, Georgia, A-Town all day. And I just tried out these new headphones, the Bludios, the Turban T2s. Yo, and these things is like mad dope. What I love about them is the fact that when you put them on, you got like mad different angles. You can get your swag on, like if you like to rock your headphones to the back behind the ear. That's kind of like my style right there. Or some DJs like to rock it like that in the front of the ear. You can do that. And the craziest thing is like the sound isolation. Like literally, while the DJs was performing back during the show, DJ's Day Out. Like I put these on right in front of the speakers, and it pretty much canceled out all background noise, which I love, and it covered my ears, and they're comfortable. And lastly, the most phenomenal thing about these dope headphones are, man, y'all ain't gonna even believe that. That's the reason all our headphones great. So once again, this is DJ Machete X, repping one time for the Bludios. Yo, stamp, cool, peace.
Oh, what's up, everybody? DJ Radical. I'm here listening to these headphones, and I'm banging these. It's clear. Look at this right here. As DJs, you already know what's going on, how flexible the headphones have to be, all right? Because you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, all of this, and it's ready for that, okay? So they have passed that test as far as durability is concerned. Clean. It's a nice separation of the lows, mids, and highs. So I'm feeling it, no doubt, no doubt. I would rock these, you know what I'm saying? Plus, you could just have these on just if you just want to chill and listen to some music, you know what I'm saying? It's Bluetooth, so, you know, it's a salute, plain and simple. It's your man, DJ Radical. You know what we do.
All right, and that's it. That's the ad that I have going on for Blue Yo. What I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to get in contact with the right person in marketing to see what type of deal that we can get for the DJ community, because these are basically DJ headphones. Like I said in the video, and they're they're you can put them on either way, but if you don't put them on the right way, I mean the wrong way is the way you would think, because the way that the cups would fit on your ear. So this is not even the actual way that you're supposed to wear them. But with me having them on this way, if I want to do the swivel, then I can't swivel back. I have to swivel forward. But you have some guys that will wear their headphones like this when they're DJing, because you have this ear that you use for cueing, and you have this ear that you're listening to the house. But usually I try to force myself left ear, right ear. And so, and they fit the same way. I mean, once you get them on right, to where the band is in the right place and they're fitting on your ear right. So when you're DJing or whatever, and I call these, and I told my wife yesterday or the day before, and maybe one of my kids too, that these headphones have what they call family mode. And what I mean by family mode is when I have them on, I can't hear you. Well, I can hear, but you have to be talking loud enough to where I can hear you. I can drive with them on, and I can hear traffic or whatever. I can hear, as long as there's no music or nothing playing. Once you put music on them, I cannot hear you. I can be looking at you and like, what? I don't hear what you're saying, because like they said in the video, they actually, with the right volume, you won't be able to hear anything around you. But usually when I have them on while driving, I'm using them for and it has a mic too. I never did mention this much in it, but it also has a mic too. There's a little hole right here, somewhere along here, for the mic, which they also have a great sound whenever talking on the phone. So I use them whenever I'm talking. I take them to work. I use them for work whenever I'm in a noisy area. I have them on so I can hear whoever I'm on the phone with as for what they're saying. But like I said, there's a mode I came up with that I call family mode. Whenever I have them on, if I have music playing through them, I'm not going to hear you. If I don't have music playing, I can hear you, but I hear you better when I put them in family mode. This is also DJ one cup mode, but I call it family mode when I can take one ear off and I can hear what everybody's doing. And like I said, these are good for DJs because they stay on your head. See, they still in place. I still got the one cup here, which actually you'll be doing it this way, because this one is the one that has the jack in it. But you can do it. I mean, you do it whatever way is comfortable for you. Like I said, you can flip it around to where the right is on the left and the left is on the right. They fit comfortably the same way. And like in the video, headband stretches and come right back. There's a metal band on each side, right up in this area on each side, that keeps it from snapping. So that is a whole lot. The only thing I can say to be careful is when you're swiveling, because the pivot point can probably break real easily. So other than that, you be careful with that and you're good. A lot of people that have them they don't use the Bluetooth. I use the Bluetooth a lot. Whenever I have them on, I use the Bluetooth because I have them synced up to my phone. If I be out in the yard, I play some music. If I'm in the car, I won't play the radio. I play from the 24/7mixer.com app. So that's where all my music comes from. That's what I mostly listen to, unless I put some music on my phone or download something or whatever. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get a deal with the company. If they could do 20 on Amazon, see if we could do 20. They do 20 on eBay. See if I can get 20 on Amazon, and maybe if they can throw in the case, because there's a case. I think there's a case that you can get with them, but it doesn't come in the actual box. The only thing you get in the box is the packaging that holds it. You get an instruction manual, which I need to look at because there was something about the Bluetooth I needed to know. You get a manual. You get 1/8 cord for your wire, and then you get a USB micro cord for charging. And that's it. Like I said in the video, the boxing part is not that important. It's the actual product. So here's what I'm asking y'all in the comments. Don't forget to like this podcast, share it to all the other DJs that you know, share it to anybody personally, especially about the headphones. Share it and subscribe so you would know the next couple videos that I'm doing, and I'm gonna be adding a lot more videos now. I'm doing a lot of video editing, so I will be adding stuff in the future about if you ever heard of a Serato server or a DVS server? Okay, you haven't? Good. I'm going to create one, and I'm going to show you how to create it. So you may want to tune in for that. And also, the best method to set up your MacBook or your Windows PC for DJing. How to get it optimized the best possible way that you can to where it runs efficient. Like I can show you how to get your laptop to run like on day 1 at day 585 a year from now, 2 years from now, to where it runs the same way it did when you first got it. You got to tune in for that. You got to tune in. I'm not going to give you that information now. You got to tune in for that because I've shared it with a lot of groups. I'm going to be doing videos and I'm going to be sharing a lot more. But anyway, stay in touch. A lot of you guys have seen this. I posted it in the group that you may be tuning in from about the Bluetooth. There's some groups that I didn't post it to. So those of you that want to see the video again, I'm going to put the video for the Bluetooth in the description. So be sure that you look for it once I log off. That's when I'm going to put the link in for the Bluetooth. So you make sure you like, share, and subscribe. That's about it for tonight. I'd like to thank everybody, Tracy and Matt, for tuning in. You guys for watching the podcast, whether you're watching it now or whether you're watching later. Those that tune in live, that watch live. I'm dehydrated, so I got to get something to drink because I'm out of water. So I will catch y'all next week. Atlanta DJ Zone Tech Tuesday Live. You're here with the Kydd. Peace.